This is Part 2 Episode 263. Both Oscar and Ning Rongrong are struggling to support them. They have burned all of themselves together, and supported the two great gods, who descended to release their divine power. The chance of resurrection is right in front of them, but the soul power they released can no longer support it. The two gods may separate at any time. What should I do? What to do? Ning Rongrong and Oscar stared at each other anxiously. They bit their tongues tightly and used the tingling pain from the tip of their tongues to gather the last bit of energy. It's not that Oscar and Ning Rongrong don't want to rely on Oscar's sausage to supplement themselves. It's just that Ning Rongrong's 9 treasures glazed tower boost can't work on Tang San. At this time their spirits are fused. The technical effect has completely reached the god level. The god level effect is doomed to invalidate all the boosting abilities they possess, whether it is Oscar's sausage or Ning Rongrong's 9 treasures glazed tower. At a critical moment, from all directions in the conference hall, countless tiny white light spots appeared silently. These white light spots drifted slowly, and the target was Tang San, who was lying on the ground. At this moment, the soldiers outside could see the layer of red light outside the meeting hall is slightly rhythmic, and the thin white light just appeared in its rhythm. The white light is slowly condensing towards Tang San's body. Every trace is very faint, but tens of thousands. Wan's white light fused together, but it was a force that could never be ignored. Bunga Euro, the gods behind Ning Rongrong and Oscar finally turned into specks of light and dissipated. Their bodies shook at the same time, and they fell to the ground. All the energies were completely erupted. At this moment, the lamps were exhausted. Only one breath was left. Xiao Wu let out a mournful cry and wanted to rush forward. The wound on Tang San's chest hadn't healed yet, and his golden heart couldn't match it even more. All the meridians are connected, don't move. The master suddenly shouted and stopped Xiao Wu's movements. The severe physical pain and mental torment made Xiao Wu's face turn pale, and she finally fell down. Looking at Tang San's body, she would never give up until the last moment. The master opened his arms and stopped Tang Hao beside him. Don't move anyone, don't get close to Xiao San. Everyone's eyes were a little dull. At this moment, they also found Tang Hao on Tang San's body. The changing white slender light is extremely subtle, and you can't find it without careful observation of your mind. Of course, most of the venues are strong soul masters, so they can see it naturally, but they always thought it was brought by Ning Rongrong and Oscar's martial soul fusion skills. The effect, but at this moment, it doesn't look like this, because even though Ning Rongrong and Oscar have fallen into a coma, the slender white light still exists, still pouring into Tang San's body bit by bit, merging into the wound on his chest. Every meridian around the golden heart is still undergoing a continuous process. Although the speed is much slower than when Oscar and Ning Rongrong presided over it before, this process continues, which proves that everything still has a chance. This is. Tang Hao's eyes shrank for a while, although he already had an idea in his heart. The master looked at each other, and the two said almost in unison, the power of faith, yes. The slender white light is the power of faith that comes from the million-strong army of the Heaven Do Empire. The power of faith is naturally nothing, but if it is a million people, it is completely different, especially this million army is absolutely devout to Tang San's belief. Even if there are some impurities, they are completely filtered by the strange red light outside. Entering the conference hall, the power of faith integrated into Tang San's body is the purest power. These powers of faith are taking over Ning Rongrong's and Oscar's martial soul fusion skills, continuing to repair Tang San's body bit by bit. Quick, let's continue to pray for Xiao San. The master shouted, clasped his hands together, his face was full of excitement. Everyone made the same movement, for this last chance, for Tang San's resurrection. They started their most sincere prayers. Time 1:1 drops go by, the wound on Tang San's chest heals much slower than when the two great gods released the light of resurrection, but it never stops. As long as the process of resurrection continues, everything has a chance. Seeing Tang San's pulse, the meridians on the top are gradually connected. Everyone in the hall has forgotten the time. During this period, only Xuebing went out. He issued a death order to all the Tiando Empire army. As long as the resurrection process here does not stop, it cannot be stopped. Tang San's prayer. He told the soldiers of the Heaven Do Empire that this is the empire's last hope. Only with the resurrection of the sea god can they defeat the powerful enemy and allow the empire to continue. A single change can make everyone present tremble with fear. The muscles on Tang San's body will twitch from time to time, especially the position of the heart. An occasional tremor affects everyone's heart. From day to night and from night to day, everyone forgets after a while, they just prayed for Tang San in their hearts. The power of faith, which is as thin as a hair, has never been broken, and it is constantly integrating into Tang San's body. Finally, the golden heart began to tremble continuously. At the beginning, its trembling was still very weak, but as more power of faith merged into it, its trembling began to become stronger, and the wound on Tang San's chest was finally completely healed. Completely healed during prayer, Oscar and Ning Rongrong have woken up and sat aside. At this time, they have completely become ordinary people, even their bodies are not as strong as ordinary people, but their hearts are full of satisfaction. As the initiators of the resurrection light, they can clearly feeling that Tang San's vitality is returning bit by bit, his own body functions are also being awakened, as long as his divine power can be revived, no matter how serious the injury is, it is nothing enough to heal itself. Everyone's eyes are fixed, staring firmly at the position of Tang San's chest, seeing his chest start to rise and fall slowly, everyone's eyes couldn't help but burst into tears of excitement. They succeeded, Tang San already had a heartbeat and breath. Grandmaster, Tang Hao, and Xiao Wu, whose face was as pale as paper and who might faint at any time, all came to Tang San's side. Holding Xiao Wu's body, everyone was observing Tang San's body at the closest distance. Tang Hao carefully climbed onto Tang San's body. The wrist pulse carefully felt the condition in his body. How is it? The master asked anxiously. Tang Hao nodded. Little San's body is recovering rapidly, not just from the power of faith. His own power seems to have been awakened and revived in order to feel the huge energy in his body. Even my soul power cannot go deep into it. His pulse is getting stronger and stronger. As long as he can wake up, our resurrection process will be considered a success. No, not yet, Xiao Wu said with a trembling voice. Tang Hao looked at Xiao Wu suspiciously. You mean? Xiao Wu's eyes were still full of sadness. Brother has become a god. According to what you said, his body has recovered to this level. If he was alive, he should have woken up by now. He must be able to feel our worries, but he is still in a coma, which only proves one problem. What we resurrected is only his body, but not all of him. His last attack on Bibi Dongit is a soul attack. To a god, it is a soul. At that time, Bibi Dong was obviously injured. At that time, my brother himself was seriously injured and fell into a coma. It is very likely that his soul has been crushed by Bibi Dong. To a god, perhaps a broken heart is not a fatal soul. Broken, but... No, you're talking nonsense. Tang Hao roared angrily. Little San is already alive, haven't you seen it? He is breathing now, listen to how powerful his heartbeat is. My son is not dead, my son is still alive. Xiao San, wake up quickly, and prove to them that you are still alive. You are still roaring, but tears are flowing down Tang Hao's eyes. I'm afraid he will. Today is the day that shed the most tears in my life. As the saying goes, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. After 2 days and 2 nights, the resurrection of Tang San's body was finally completed, but Xiao Wu's words shocked everyone. It's a bit unbearable, but they all know that the person who is most familiar with Tang San's physical condition must be Xiao Wu, who has always been by his side. No one knows him better than Xiao Wu. Even Xiao Wu said so. Then, the conference hall suddenly fell silent, dead the general silence. Their eyes were all looking at Tang San, who had recovered his breathing, heartbeat, and even his wounds had completely healed. They could even feel the aura belonging to God from Tang San again, but Tang San was still lying there, nothing to worry about. Signs of recovery, unwilling emotions filled everyone's sea. They tried their best, but in the end they still couldn't succeed. Such a blow would break even the most determined person. If only an ordinary person was resurrected, the resurrection alone light can revive the body and then awaken the soul. But Tang San is not an ordinary person, he is a god, and his soul cannot be awakened by the god of cookery and the 9-colored goddess. What's more, the god of cookery and the 9-colored goddess did not persist until Tang San's body fully recovered. At this moment, ripples of despair rippled in everyone's hearts. They had lost the last hope in their hearts. At this moment, Tang San's body suddenly trembled violently, catching everyone's eyes at once. Tang Hao hugged him tightly. Looking at his son, he uttered the last cry and prayer in his heart. At this moment, even if he had to exchange his own life for the return of Tang San's spirit, he would be willing. At this moment, suddenly, everyone in the hall found that they seemed to be unable to breathe. Strong the suffocation made them suddenly fall into a painful state, and the surrounding scene also changed at this moment. Everything became illusory and unreal. Blue, that is endless blue, even though they are in this closed environment in the room, but looking around, the scene in the eyes is an endless blue, just like looking far into the distance in the depths of the sea. Then, a strange scene appeared in front of everyone. They saw Tang San, a Tang San who was completely blue. That Tang San slowly walked out from the endless blue, his face was full of excitement, he looked at the crowd, but seemed unable to speak, just approaching step by step. The feeling of suffocation accompanied by the huge pressure from the soul made everyone stared at the blue figure until he just walked into the body of Tang San in Tang Hao's arms. Boom! Tang Hao only felt that his body was shaken by an invisible potential. Tang San in his arms suddenly floated up from a flat position and turned into an upright position, just floating in this conference hall. The originally slender white light disappeared almost instantly at this moment, whether it was Tang Hao, the master, Xiao Wu, the room everyone inside, or the soldiers of the three armies outside who were always praying for Tang San, all had the same voice in their hearts at this moment. I'm back, yes. When the blue Tang San stepped into the meeting hall, Tang San came back, really came back. That blue Tang San was none other than Tang San's soul, and the sea god returned. Tang San finally truly completed the final resurrection process, resurrecting a god. No one in this human world, it's a fantasy, its difficulty is unimaginable, but in the process of resurrection, Tang San not only got Oscar and Ning Rongrong's soul fusion skills, but also the light of resurrection, unleashed by the fusion power of the two great gods. In Jiling Pass, 1,000,000 soldiers of the three armies prayed for the power of faith for 2 days and 2 nights, and his god-level body was restored, while his soul was the trillions of sea creatures, under the auspices of the guardian Doluor, the 7 sacred pillars of the sea god. During the common prayer, relying on the sliver of divine sense he left on the top of Sea God Mountain, he regained it. Sea God Mountain and Sea God Temple are both the places where Sea God's power is the strongest. It is also the inheritance of Sea God. This is why Tang San left the divine sense after his body died. It still didn't dissipate completely in a short time. Of course, this is also the credit of the 7 sacred pillar guardian Doluor headed by Sea Dragon Doluor. A trace of soul called out to the entire sea. Tang San couldn't be resurrected successfully. At this moment, San has truly stood in front of everyone. The sea god has been resurrected. The moment Tang San opened his eyes, all the blue in the conference hall had disappeared, suffocating. The feeling of pain also went away. Xiao Wu stared at Tang San firmly. When she saw the light in Tang San's eyes reappeared, her faith finally relaxed. She let out a low hum and passed out in Liu Erlong's body. At this time, the layer of red light that had been surrounding the meeting hall before quietly disappeared and quietly drilled back into Xiao Wu's body from the ground, without a sound. Even Tang San, who had just been resurrected, didn't notice that the icy breath also disappeared, the faint light flashing. Tang San's face showed deep emotion, his gaze swept over everyone's face, his fists were clenched unconsciously. Thank you all. A surge of blue light was released from Tang San's body, sweeping across the sky. The soft sea god power nourished the bodies of everyone present, sweeping away all their fatigue and anxiety from the past 2 days and 2 nights. Shuebing fell to his knees with a plop, looked at Tang San, with tears streaming down his face. Teacher, you are finally resurrected. It's all my fault, you have sacrificed too much for the empire. Tang San floated to the ground and helped Shuebing up from the ground. Shuebing, you are fine, even though I was killed by Bibi Dong at the time. Everything that happened was seen by my spirit scattered in the air. You are worthy of being the emperor of the Heaven Do Empire. You are a generation of wise emperors, and you should be the most qualified emperor in all dynasties of the Heaven Do Empire. Shuebing shook his head vigorously. No, I'm no wise king. I don't even have the strength to protect my own people. Teacher, I really don't want you to go to the battlefield again emotionally, but the empire needs your protection. Tang San patted Shuebing. Don't say anything. Some things are inevitable and must be resolved. There must be a final result between me, Bibi Dong and Qian Xue. They will not let me go, and I will not let them go. Xiao San, Master Tang, he came to Tang San with great strides. Dad, I made you worry. Tang San looked at the 2 fathers, his lips tightly pursed. Of course he knew how lucky he was to be resurrected, but his heart was not because of the resurrection. And relaxed, what he faced before, he still has to face again. How easy is it to defeat the opponent's twin gods? From Tang Hao and the master, Tang San saw a lot of things and understood that the two fathers didn't want to take risks by themselves. They didn't want to do it again, losing myself once. As long as I leave the battlefield now, even if Bibidong and Chen Renshua join hands, it is impossible to keep me. But can he really go? Dad, my second life is given by everyone. I can't abandon my belief, my people. Do not say anything. The most important thing now is to find a way how to deal with Bibidong and Chen Renshua. While speaking, he stepped forward, hugged the two fathers with his firm and powerful arms, and showed his determination to everyone. They, Hao and Grandmaster, didn't speak. They looked at Tang San, eyes full of complex light. Tang San walked between the two fathers to Oscar and Ning Rongrong. After being nourished by the power of Sea God, their expressions improved a lot, but still lacking the strength to stand up there. Tang San stretched out his hands, pressing on their shoulders respectively. Certainty of victory. So I conclude that your decision is definitely not to defeat them, but to die together. This is the best result you can achieve, right? Tang San looked at his father. He never knew that his father knew him so well. He breathed out from the genetic habit. Tang San nodded silently. Dad, you know I have no choice. I can't just watch the Heaven Do Empire be destroyed. Bibidong is the enemy of you and mother is also the enemy of teacher father and myself. I have no way to retreat. It is everyone's power that brought me back to life. I can only do what I can. I believe you can understand me. The battlefield changes rapidly. Maybe it's not like I don't have a chance to retreat. No possibility. Tang Hao suddenly roared violently. Little San, I don't allow you to do this. Master, and I only have you as a son. I am a father. Could it be that you let me watch my son die with my own eyes? You can go too, but you have to step over my dead body. Looking at his father's incomparably persistent eyes, Tang San sighed softly. Dad, I'm sorry. The blue light spread silently behind Tang Hao. The other blue Tang San didn't. Any omen appeared. A blue light flashed behind Tang Hao. Tang Hao snorted and fell into Tang San's arms, embracing his father's body. Tang San had a faint smile on his face. Whether it's for you, or for Xiao Wu and everyone, I will fight again. How could he back down? The blue light flashed. The body in the form of spirit and soul merged with the main body, and this time he experienced the process from life to death, and then from death to life. Although Tang San had gone through hardships, all of them also completely inspired his Sea God, making him even stronger. A deep understanding of the various abilities between the soul and the body. This is why Tang San is certain. With a wave of his hand, a crack opened in the air. Tang San sent Tang Hao's body in, and a series of strange magic lines formed in that crack. The surroundings are blooming. This is a temporary space created by Tang San with his divine power. This space can intelligently support 2 days. Even if Tang San doesn't release Tang Hao after 2 days, this space will shatter on its own, releasing Tang Hao's body. At that time, everything will be destroyed. The dust had settled. Since Tang San had made up his mind, he didn't leave any escape route for himself. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, his spirit surged, and the azure brilliance enveloped him. Tang San began to practice without any diffusion of his divine sense. At this moment, even Bibi standing in front of him, Dong would not feel the fluctuation of his divine power. In terms of realm, Tang San had already surpassed Bibi Dong and Chen Renshua. 1 day passed quickly, and no one disturbed Tang San. Even Xiao Wu woke up from a coma. After coming here, he didn't come to the meeting hall of the marshal's mansion. There was only Tang San here, as if he was in trouble. When the sun just rose from the horizon, Tang San also opened his eyes. In the blue eyes, only a layer of luster. When he floated up from the ground, the whole person looked like the most ordinary human being. The fit between the soul and the body reached an almost perfect level, and only then did the scene in front of him return to the original. Slow down at the door. When Tang San pushed open the door, everyone was already waiting there. Standing at the front were Xuebing, Grandmaster and Xiao Wu. Their eyes were all focused on Tang San. Tang San smiled slightly. Don't worry, today's battle will end everything. Everything. The master looked into Tang San's eyes. Little San, no matter where you are, we will be with you. You have to keep this in mind. Tang San sighed lightly. He knew, the master also saw something. After all, father has been missing for a day. Maybe he didn't notice it. He didn't explain it. He looked at the rising sun in the sky, and a blue air flow flashed in his eyes. What is coming will eventually come. A layer of water blue ripples began to appear around his body. Let's go. The blue light rolls lifting up everyone's bodies, as if being lifted up by a huge wave. Everyone rose into the air at the same time. Almost just a flash of light. They had already appeared on the top of Jiling Pass out of thin air. The expression in the master's eyes changed slightly. Tang San's divine power was obviously restored. In other words, his use of divine power has reached a new level, and the worry in his heart has been slightly relieved. From the beginning to the end, Xiao Wu didn't speak, but just stared at Tang San with her calm eyes. Tang San seemed to know Xiao Wu. What was Wu thinking? When everyone arrived at the top of Jiling Pass, he didn't go to see the Spirit Empire first, but walked quietly to Xiao Wu's side, grabbed her shoulders with both hands, and pulled her body over. Facing himself with his back, he carefully lifted up Xiao Wu's long braids, and scattered the neatly combed braids. He didn't know where he conjured up a comb, and gently combed her hair for Xiao Wu. With long hair, Xiao Wu's shoulders began to tremble slightly, and everyone else would turn their heads away in agreement, leaving the tranquility before the storm to the two of them. The bright sunshine shone on them, and their shadows stretched behind them. In the end, Tang San didn't say a word to Xiao Wu, he just combed her braids for her again. When he finally finished all this, he pulled Xiao Wu's body back again, looking at her with tears in her eyes. Tang San pressed his forehead against Xiao Wu's, and said softly, "My dear, I love you." Xiao Wu trembled all over, hugged Tang San's waist fiercely, and pressed her face tightly against his chest. "If you really love me, let me be with you forever. The result will not change. Let me look at you." Tang San froze for a moment. He knew that Xiao Wu already understood what he was going to do. He knew even more how determined Xiao Wu's intention was. Originally wanted to send her into the temporary space, but Xiao Wu had already told him that no matter what, the result would not change. In the end, Tang San still didn't do that. They lived and died together. This was their promise to each other. They kissed lightly. Touching Xiao Wu's forehead, Tang San's body turned into a blue light, and slipped out of her embrace, and at this moment, two figures slowly rose from the distant Spirit Empire camp. Tang San. When the god of Rakshasa and the god of angels saw the blue figure flying from the top of Jiling Pass, they couldn't help being stunned. Even Bibi Dong's gloomy heart couldn't help trembling a little. Yes, the sea god is back. He will definitely challenge Angel God and Rakshasa God again. Oscar and Ning Rongrong have temporarily lost their soul power, and there is no chance for him to be resurrected again. This battle is destined to be the final battle after all. Bidong can't believe his eyes. In 3 days, regardless of snow, relying on their powerful divine power, their strength has fully recovered. But she never imagined that in this battlefield, she would see Tang San again, the sea god who should have been shattered. "I knew he didn't will die so easily." I don't know why, seeing Tang San again, Qianrenxue felt a sense of relief, while Juliana, who seemed to have lost her soul far in front of the Spirit Empire's camp, shuddered when she saw the blue figure. All trembling with excitement. "He didn't die, he came back again. It's a surprise, isn't it?" Tang San smiled lightly. He seemed to have forgotten the ending of his tragic death at Bibi Dong's hands 3 days ago. Bibi Dong and Qianrenxue, in front of him, didn't wear their clothes' divine suit, because they never expected that the Heaven Do Empire would have the power to resist. Bibi Dong snorted coldly. "What about the accident? We can kill you once, and we can kill you a second time. It seems that I was still careless at the time. Your body should be completely wiped out from this world. I just never thought that your broken soul would have a chance to reunite. I always thought you were very smart, but now it seems that I was wrong. If I were you, I would never appear again." On the battlefield, Tang San looked gracefully, as if he had returned to the way he was when he just walked out of Yuxian. "Unfortunately, you are not me. So I will not make the same choice as you. Do you still want to ask why I don't hide? In Jiling Pass, wait until you go deep before attacking you, right?" Bibi Dong's complexion changed. "Can you see through the heart?" Tang San shook his head. "No, I still can't see through the heart of a god. Even though the evil aura on your body has stained the word God, I just understand your dark thoughts. The reason why I didn't sneak attack you guys, that because you do not want to taint your enlightened soul. If that the case, I'm afraid I cannot even defeat one of you. But now, what you will face is a sea god who has reached its peak. Maybe I will die, but I will definitely pull you to leave this world together." Bibi Dong smiled, "But her current appearance is really unflattering, Tang San. do you want to hit me mentally? So what if you reach the peak? Do you think you can fight against me like this? If so, let me show you what is the real strength of the Rakshasa God. The purple-black air current swept across, and Bibi Dawn swayed, and amidst the shining purple light, two identical bodies appeared in mid-air. The Rakshasa costume instantly possessed her body, and the terrifying purple-black divine power spread instantly, covering the light of the rising sun and making the entire sky dark at this moment. The resplendent angelic costume also wore Qian Renshua's body at the same time. His gaze has turned cold. She killed you last time, and it must be me who killed you. Facing the two gods, he released the divine outfit at the same time, and under tremendous pressure, blue air gushed out from Tang San's body. And out, surrounding his body with a little bit of blue starlight, the sea god raiment quietly appeared, but this time it appeared directly in gold. Instead of needing a golden trident to transform, Tang San told him with practical actions. For the mother and daughter in front of him, everything he said earlier was not false. The Rakshasa sickle and the holy angel sword pointed at Tang San at the same time, but the sea god trident in Tang San's hand was slowly raised above his head. The sea god trident's divine sense spread instantly, like a boundless sea. From Tang San, Bibi Dawn and Qian Renshua both felt a breath of nothingness. He was clearly there, and he didn't even use the sea god's divine power to give them any pressure. But it just happened to be like this. The souls of the Rakshasa God and the angel gods seemed to be suppressed by something, making their divine sense unable to reach and fully integrate with their own divine power. Bibi Dawn understood that Tang San didn't exaggerate now. Already surpassing himself and Qian Renshua, the 8 wings of the sea god behind Tang San also changed in this situation. The 4 wings on each side actually completed a fusion process. The original 8 wings merged into 2 huge pieces. The golden wings almost covered the entire body behind Tang San. The moment those huge wings spread out, the sky that had previously been turned purple by Rakshasa's energy instantly returned to blue. An endless blue light seemed to fill the entire sky. When he looked at the golden trident piously, he had already issued a call to the power of the sea. These blue rays of light came from the power of the sea. The sky was still blue, but there was no sun, and the huge sea god's power actually forcibly blocked it. The light of the sun, just at this moment, the angelic costume on Qianshua's body was obviously dimmed a bit. Bibi Dawn took the lead to move, and the 2 figures she transformed instantly brought up 2 purple long shadows, and the overwhelming evil aura rushed out from bottom to top. Straight Ben Tang San's body enveloped him. The huge evil aura seemed to swallow Tang San and the blue in the sky completely. Although Qian Renshua didn't get along with Bibi Dawn, she also knew that without her joining, Bibi Dawn would be very difficult to defeat. Tang San's idea of unifying the continent is not only Bibi Dawn's idea, it is also the last wish left to her by her grandfather. She must not disobey it. Body and sword become one. Qian Renshua's whole body is integrated with the angelic holy sword in her hand, turning into a huge golden long sword charged towards Tang San from the front. The mother and daughter cooperated invisibly, and instantly completed a 3-sided attack. Obviously, after several blows, Qian Renshua also had a new understanding of the control of angel power. Facing their attack, Tang San however, he is not afraid at all compared to 3 days ago. At this time, he is more calm, his cold eyes linger in his eyes, and he quietly raises the golden trident in his hand, and circles of golden halos float out, heading straight for Qian Renshua in front of him. At the same time, I saw Tang San swaying in mid-air, unexpectedly also transformed into 2 figures. He didn't see the effect of those golden halos at all. The 2 figures he separated met Bibi Dawn, who was attacking from both sides respectively. The holy angel sword in Qianshua's hand trembled violently, and an indescribable special feeling instantly spread throughout her body. Qian Renshua clearly discovered that her body had lost the ability to move, and could only maintain a state of impact and pause in mid-air. Under normal circumstances, she can still use the power of the sun's real fire to try to break through the bondage. At this moment, she can't borrow sunlight at all and stared in Tang San's direction. I can't give it to him. Any chance, he is too cunning. He must use the purest energy to collide and attack, so as to avoid falling into his trap as much as possible. Surprisingly, this time Bibi Dawn didn't have any rebuttal to Qian Shua's words. Of course it wasn't because Qian Renshua saved her just now. Such a drastic psychological change would have happened to her. Just looking at this beautiful daughter in front of her, an unprecedented feeling arose in her heart. Over the years, no matter what she was doing, a warm current poured into her icy heart. Bibi Dong and Chen Renshue were different from 3 days ago. It's not fighting each other, but really joining hands to fight against Tang San. The master closed his eyes in pain. He hated why he didn't have the strength to help Tang San. Xuebing's eyes widened even more, his fists clenched tightly, and his brows revealed with a strong expression of unwillingness. On the top of the city, the only person who can keep calm is only one person left, that is Xiao Wu. As if she had already expected the situation in front of her, she took out a pink sausage and swallowed it slowly. Soft energy fluctuations in her abdomen began to gather a pair of transparent wings behind her, which was Oscar's rapid flight. Tang San shouted, and the sea god trident in his hand suddenly drew a rice character in front of him. Tyrannical under the tremendous pressure, the sea god's divine power instantly burst out and stabilized his body in the air. He could no longer retreat. If he retreated, he would retreat to the top of Jiling Pass. At that time, once he could not withstand the attack of the 2 gods in front of him, the entire Jiling Pass would be destroyed. He will face the aftermath of the collision of 3 god-level powerhouses, and the huge divine power formed by the joint efforts of the Angel God and the Rakshasa God. At this moment, he has no choice. The Rakshasa sickle hadn't returned to Bibi Dong's hand at this time, and her complexion also became extremely ugly. She clenched her hands into fists and swung towards Tang San at the same time, a huge ball. The purple-black light ball happened to catch up with Tang San's body in mid-air, and with a loud bang, it hit him and flew straight to Jiling Pass. Tang San's plan and countermeasures were all without problems, but what he was facing was, after all, 2 gods. At the critical moment, Bibi Dong used her undefeated body, when she was still a soul master, forcibly transforming her body into energy, trying to dodge Tang San's attack from the sea god's trident. Of course, she couldn't escape the sea god. The bombardment of divine power, but at least it avoided the physical attack of the sea god trident weighing 1,000,000 catties. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.